I started working at my current summer part-time job last spring. I am situated in a large old building that used to be a country club but fell into despair about 10 years ago. Although there's nothing paranormal about my story, it is maybe worth mentioning that the former manager committed suicide in the main office upstairs when they went out of business. It adds to the unsettling quality of the place. Along with that, so do the seemingly never-ending hallways and passages, innumerable hidey holes and half-empty pools, and other strange unused parts of the building, like a secret shower room and sauna, and a tunnel of storage areas that connect the men's and women's bathrooms. There are also a lot of doors to the outside in this place. It makes sense for a country club, but currently we only use one small room for the golf course check-in, the kitchen, and one dining room for the restaurant upstairs, and the small cafe area for early morning golfers to get their coffee and beer. The cafe area is where I work. In the summer we clock in to open the cafe before 6 a.m., often before the sun comes up. The golf course people come in pretty shortly after, but I would be the first person in the building every morning. I would unlock the front door, disarm the alarm, walk downstairs in the dark, unlock this cage that keeps the junkies at the bar upstairs at night from wandering downstairs, and crawl along a long dark hallway with no windows to get to the light switch at the end of the hall. This always creeps me out, and I end up holding my keys between my fingers like brass knuckles. I'm a woman in my mid-20s, and I've lived in pretty bad neighborhoods. And then just slide down the walls on the opposite side of whatever doorway is coming up, just because it's pitch black and I'm a scaredy bear. By the time I get to the end of the hall and flip the light on, my heart is always pounding out of my chest as I struggle to find the right key to let me into the cafe. The whole situation started when Tim, a golf course employee, mentioned that he kept shutting the door between the men's locker room and bathroom and the storage area that leads to the women's, and every time he would go back in there, it'd be open again. This, along with some strange noises, was fodder for the bar regulars upstairs to claim this place was haunted by the old manager and whomever else they said died within these halls. Travis, a co-worker in the cafe, also mentioned that a few minutes after he opened, he went into the men's locker room and noticed that it was steamy and smelled like soap. So he went into the shower room to investigate, and everything was sopping wet and still hot. He was the only person who was supposed to be there at that time of day, but didn't see anyone, so he let it go. A couple months later, Tim noticed this weird side door that he had to climb up a rickety old staircase on the side of the building, and it wasn't shutting correctly. He fixed it and it locked correctly, and didn't think anything more of it. Shortly after, someone from the golf course came over to tell me that they found someone's entire life packed away in one of their hundreds of lockers that no one uses, and they thought someone was living in the storage room between the men's and women's bathrooms. He must have been coming in before the golf course people set the alarms when they left in the evenings, and leaving after the cafe person, i.e. me, would come in and turn off the alarm in the morning. So that means that every morning, as I blindly shuffled my way down that long, dark hallway alone, one of those pitch black doorways actually did have someone hiding behind it. A few days later, a red-faced, angry, bald man in Vietnam-era Army-issue glasses came into the cafe and started screaming, puffing, and flailing his arms around, yelling about his stuff getting thrown out. He went over to berate the golf course people, so they asked him about the contents of the locker. His answer about specific items led them to realize that this was the man who was secretly living in one of the building's many dark passageways. I never found out much about him, whether he was dangerous or just homeless, but watching him scream about his stuff made it clear that he wasn't 100% rational. I still work there and do a darkness shuffle down the hall every morning when I work, and although they say everything is in the up and up, and with the alarms and doors locking, it still creeps me the hell out. There have been some other creepy things that have happened in this place recently to make me think this isn't all over with, which I will post separately if anyone is interested. Recent update for Sleeper Creeper. I just posted about my situation last summer with the creeper at my golf course job, and I didn't want the post to be too long. Monday, I noticed a pad of paper and a long metal pair of tweezers clipped underneath the stairs. I thought it probably had something to do with inventory, because right before, a manager came in to count the foodstuff and beverages. Also, it wasn't an area that is easily accessed by customers, but not technically locked in any way during the day. Today, my friend who works at the bar upstairs told me that someone brought the pad to her, and it has some pretty schizophrenic thoughts in it. It has lots of stuff about how electric cars work to support some kind of government agenda surrounding social media, and some plans to patent for some sort of alternative energy source that involve the UN and foreign passports. This part of the building is not under video surveillance, so I have no idea who left it and if they're planning on coming back or not, but it could be the same guy from before. He seemed pretty unhinged and definitely liked to spend a lot of time in weird parts of the building. Here are some pictures of the pages and where I found it.